What's good, people? I'm GALANACCI the Creator, a Manila-born, Cardiff-trained, and London-raised artist, designer, creator, and I am the founder of GALANACCI, a luxury human wear brand pioneering self-discovery and greatness. And this is episode 11. It is March 23rd. It is a Saturday today, and we'll just get right into it. So what did we do the past week? Well, what you'll find is when you're starting a brand, you'll need money, and in order to have money, you're either working a 9 to 5, or you're doing client work, or you're selling product. And depending on which, sometimes you're doing all three, sometimes you're doing 2 out of the 3 that I've mentioned. But in my case, it's I do client work, and when I can, I sell products. And GALANACCI isn't the only sort of product-based business that I'm building. So I also have GTHEFIGHTER, which is the boxing artworks, and I sell artwork prints there. And whatever I learned during those sessions where I'm drawing these boxers. I'm actually wearing a boxing tee right now. Pioneers of Greatness. This is the Versus tee with Pacquiao and Oscar de la Hoya. And yeah, that feeds into this brand actually. They go all hand in hand. But yeah, I also have a design studio, which I do the client work. I do design services. That's called Gverse. So I was doing client work this week alongside obviously handling the brand. So Gverse is another sort of a revenue stream that allows me to fund the brand. And it's just the reality of it, man. You really need to find other ways to fund your brand, especially if you don't have a 9 to 5. But if you have a 9 to 5, you'd be using that. But if you don't, then it's the client work and the freelance or whatnot, whatever your situation is. This whole week I've just been planning, really, bunch of planning, more planning, and then organizing. So basically a whole bunch of like admin work. Like these are the things that most brand owners don't really share, because it's just boring as hell. Like no one wants to see that. But at GALANACCI we're doing it different. We're showing you the real shit. We'll talk about the real shit, man. Like things like that. And most of the planning I've been doing is setting up sort of how to work in teams. So I'm slowly bringing in like my siblings. So I'm the eldest of 4, so I have 3 siblings that I could ask for help to build the brand alongside my co-founder, aka my girlfriend. And I've been doing sort of planning what tasks I can delegate and what I could offload from my palette, because obviously right now I'm doing everything from the recording this, editing this, and then creating snippets out of it, and then the copywriting, doing up the captions for it, and then uploading in all of the social medias, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, man, just a whole bunch. And that's a lot of job, man. That's in itself, uploading or managing the social media side, that's a whole load of work. Like usually you'd have a team running the social media alone, but if you're starting from the ground up, you will have to do it all on your own. But right now it's getting a little bit too much, so I'm slowly offloading the work and teaching my siblings to sort of how to manage, so say the social media aspect and whatnot. And if you want to build a brand, quickly, you can do it on your own. But if you want to go further, they say you should do it with people, you know, you build it with others. And yeah, I was creating, so one of the things that I've been sort of setting up to delegate is like the creation of like graphic designs. So there's these certain graphic designs that I'll be rolling out in the near future, and I've created like sort of a step-by-step tutorial on how to create those, so that when I pass it down to my sibling to do, they'll know how to do it exactly the way I do it, you know. And it's just those, it's like, that's probably like my first time doing a tutorial, just to show how I do my own work and whatnot, to get them also familiarized in the process and how I kind of move to create these graphic designs and whatnot. But yeah, that should wrap up what we did this week, and then we'll move on to the next segment, you know, the thoughts. So what was I thinking, what was like on my mind this whole week in regards to like building a brand, being a creative, and all of that shit. And one of them is, what you start to realize is the mundane, so like the boring stuff that I've been talking about previous episodes, they're the most important part. Those are like it's like building the systems, it's building the structure within your brand, your workflow, your design processes, streamlining the pipeline and whatnot. That's the important part, you know. It's the planning, the thinking, and then also equal amounts of execution. And it just all adds up, you know, like being prepared and then just executing. Those two work hand in hand. Can't do one without the other. And it just speeds up the process when you have a plan laid out. And I've been constantly learning as well, so I'd catch myself using ChatGPT, learning more about like the financial side of the business. Because when you're running a brand, you have to. Well, GALANACCI is a LLC, so a limited liable company. So it's its own entity. So it has its own business banking account, you know. It has its credit card, it has its debit. So it acts as its own entity. So you have to worry about corporations tax, filing your accounts. It's April soon, so I'll be preparing the accounts, the financial accounts for GALANACCI, and all of that mundane, boring stuff. I don't even like doing that, but those are the things that you have to do because it's I'm the director, right, for the brand, and it's by law I have to do these things, or you'd get a fine. Sorry, like last year I forgot to file my accounts on time. There was just a lot on my plate, so I forgot. So I had to pay like £100 fine, you know. So lesson learned the hard way. So yeah, man, it's just those things, man. You need to learn how to do those yourself, because you can't. It's nice to just get that and have it delegated elsewhere, like someone who's actually an accountant, but it's also good for you to actually understand what goes in this side of running the business, you know, building a business. Because if you don't know your numbers, that's where you can get screwed up, you know, when in the future or whatnot. So you got to teach yourself. Constant learning, man. Always learning. That's the name of the game, really. Once you stop learning, then it's game over, man. You're gonna get screwed. You don't know what's happening. You don't know how hard it is to do certain position roles before you start delegating them and all of that. And then yeah, man, I'm in this phase in my creative journey, like it almost feels like in a cocoon, right? So I'm trapped in this case, and it's like it's uncomfortable, you know. It's that period of like growth. It's like constant growth, and then it's also uncomfortable because, you know, you just want to break free. There's a lot of restrictions, but then it's during this time where the real growth happens, man. Like it tests you, man. The game is testing you if it's actually if this is for you, and if you can survive that, then you emerge as this butterfly, and you can fly high. And yeah, man, we're sort of maneuvering the cocoon phase, you know. But yeah, that's just how I see where I am at in terms of my creative journey, my entrepreneur journey, building this brand. And yeah, man, I just have to dig it out, man, get through it. And yeah, I think that should wrap up the thoughts segment. So we'll wrap it up in that. I think that should do it. And then obviously we received some Q&As, not on the previous episode. No one left a comment. It's all good. But I got some Q&As from the IG stories anyway, so let's just get down to it. What do you like most in creating your own brand? So for me, I didn't give myself the alias GALANACCI the Creator if I didn't like to create. So it's more of bringing out these ideas and vision that came from my own mind, you know. That's what I enjoy about building a brand, because you turn your ideas into reality. So whether it be the direction, the creative direction, the art direction, the designs, and the packaging experience of the brand, and the social media aspect of the brand, all of those, just bringing those ideas to life and then watching it improve over time. I think that's my favorite part. Just starting and then putting in the consistent work, and then being able to look back to see how much you improved, and then to look ahead to see how much more you have to go and how much more you need to get better, improve, develop. Like I said, it's a constant learning process. You never stop. So the next question: hey bro, what's your take? You should design clothes that you like or clothes that you think people like. For me, it's good to have a balance, but I actually don't care what people like, because most of the time people don't know what they even like, you know. So for me, I just worry about putting things that I like, because if you put out things that people like, that means you're just following a trend. I don't want to follow no trends, man. I'm putting out my visions. My visions isn't copy and pasting whatever's popping at this moment. And if it's the thing that isn't commercially viable, then let it be. I'm not here to put out copy and paste type of shit, you know. So for me, it's staying true and sticking to the vision that I have in my mind for the brand. Because when you pave your own lane, you will draw your own audience that will be sort of the ride or die customers, you know. So whatever you put out, they'll learn to love it, you know. And if they don't, it's cool, man. Like we'll only serve those who are actually fucking with us, you know. If not, then, you know, stay on that side. It's more towards creating clothes that I like, and if you don't like what I like, that's cool, man. But also you gotta balance it with the commercial aspect. But obviously for now, we're sticking true to the vision. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have to balance it, because it is a business at the end of the day. So you need to bring in revenue. I'll be like 60-40. So 60% I'll design what I like, 40% I'll listen to the people. Or even I could even do 70-30. The more I think about it, it might even be like 80-20%. So 80% pushing out my ideas and what I like versus what people like, you know. Last question, if you have the chance to create without worrying about money, would you still start a business? I started the business worrying about the money. So if I didn't have to worry about the money, then I would just create. I would still have the business, but I'll just be creating whatever I want, because then I don't have to worry about the money. So it will be, instead of the 60 or 80-20%, it will be 100% my solo vision and not caring about what people think. And that's what I'll be pushing. Yeah, hopefully that answers the question. That should wrap up this episode. And yeah, man, if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section. And that's it from me, man. Peace.